Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next session of today's eTail Digital Summit. To any new faces tuning in, thank you so much for joining us, and a welcome back to anybody who joined us on our previous session. We'll be kicking off our next session with SheerID. We're diving into creating real connections, how personalization makes the holidays extra special. Now, of course, some in-house logistics for any new folks listening in. Within the On24 platform, you can move your windows around to fit whatever device you're using to connect with us today. Now, if you accidentally minimize a window, don't worry about it. Happens to everybody. Simply pop into the menu dock at the very bottom of your screen to bring that window right back up. There's also a Q&A portal on your screen that you can use to submit questions to our speakers, to anybody on the back end over the course of the presentation. There's a couple of Windows widgets that you can kind of toggle around in, dive deeper into. There's some speaker information as well set up, so don't be shy and take a look around. So with that, I'm going to pass the mic over to the Chief Marketing Officer at SheerID. Take it away, Sai. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Elise. Hello, everyone. Over the last few years, I have been fortunate to partner with some of the world's leading brands like Nike, Lowe's, Rothy's, and Urban Outfitters around customer acquisition programs. SheerID, the company I work for, is a targeted promotion software company that works with retail brands on customer acquisition and retention strategies. Through our partnerships, we have seen some common strategies deployed by these companies to acquire new customers. Over the next 20 minutes or so, I will talk about lessons we learned from the last holiday season, strategies that are being used by retail innovators as they plan for the next upcoming holiday season, and concrete tips and examples that you can apply for your brand and rise above the noise. Going back to the last holiday season, many of us have seen the top line numbers. Online shoppers in the U.S. spent about $122 billion online during the 2018 holiday season. And that's double-digit growth year over year, essentially 23% increase between Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday from prior year. The 2018 holiday season also was the first time that the smartphones had majority of the web traffic. And according to Salesforce Commerce Cloud, 48% of the orders were made via a smartphone during the last holiday season. The average order value has also gone up just a little bit. Surveys have shown that on average, order value has gone up 5 to 6%. Now that's all good news. At the same time, average discounts were 24% during this time period. The problem is that consumers have become smart and conditioned to expecting discounts. In the consumer survey we did last year with Kelton, consumers are willing to give more information about themselves to get a deal. A recent Deloitte study said that 75% of shoppers switch the venue for better prices. So it's not a surprise that universal discounts are being used, and they do work. While there is a margin pressure due to uniform discounting during the holidays, there's also an added pressure from increased customer acquisition costs. A retail analytics firm, Dynamic Action, found that paid acquisition costs have gone up 50% over the last 5 years. The biggest reason that we found in our survey is that it's a noisy marketplace. So what is creating this noisy marketplace? What are the underlying dynamics? One, all the brands are using the same paid channels. It's Google, Facebook, Instagram, and now increasingly Amazon. Second, mass discounting of promotions. That's not a surprise. This is a tactic most marketers use regularly. In our survey, we found that 66% of marketers said that this was their primary approach to promotions. In the travel industry, 93% of marketers use mass discounting instead of targeted promotions. And last but not the least, in the survey, we found majority of marketers spent more on ad channels trying to get their message out compared to prior year, and they expect the spending to rise in every channel except for print. So let's look at the first factor. The acquisition channels are getting more concentrated. This past holiday season, 46% of consumers started their online shopping on Amazon, and 68% of them did price comparison on Amazon. So hence, we are seeing brands spending more money on Amazon ads. So this holiday season, we expect retailers to spend more on Amazon and product listing ads. Second, when we asked marketers about promotions, especially uniform discounts, they all acknowledge the value of promotions during the holiday season. At the same time, 2 in 3 said that they're concerned it's an issue during the rest of the year. And the issues are evenly distributed across margin erosion, customer conditioning, and devaluing of the brand. And the root of this is that promotions can't be targeted. They go to everyone. In an online world, it's a challenge to send a promotion to a targeted group. In the same survey, marketers expect to spend more money across all the channels this year, except for print. So these 3 factors together are creating a perfect storm. So no wonder the marketers are under tremendous pressure to deliver. In our survey, we asked what it feels like to be a digital marketer and chose some colorful descriptions to describe this situation and emotion. And as you can see, Bill Murray's comedic nightmare of Groundhog Day was most popular. Marketers feel like they're running in place on a never-ending hamster wheel. In other words, marketers know what performs, but it's getting harder to get traction. So what are innovative retailers doing differently as we start thinking about planning for the holiday season? It's actually not what they're doing different during the holiday season. It is what they're doing leading up to the holiday season. Most marketers think of their core buyers in terms of demographics like age, gender, income, and the more sophisticated marketers use psychographic profiles using CDPs like Discount Shopper, for example. What we are seeing with some of the leading brands is they are mapping the core buyer demographic data to how that consumer identifies themselves and the tribe they feel they belong to. Let me walk you through 2 examples to illustrate that. The first example is Lowe's. After building contractors, the next best segment for home improvement companies like Lowe's is the do-it-yourselfer. They tend to be mid-30s and 40s, male, resourceful. Lowe's realized there is a pretty good correlation with the military segment. So what they did was they aligned their brand with the military community. Lowe's offers exclusive promotions to the military community and tied that consumer status within their loyalty program. The results have been pretty strong. They reported that this program has seen 2 to 3x the engagement of their next best program. The second example is Urban Outfitters. They are focused on the Gen Z audience and know that most of them are in college. So what they did was they ran targeted promotion for students at a non-traditional time. In this case, actually after the holidays. They provided students with a 10% discount on everything throughout the store that was stackable to remove excess inventory. They had tremendous success. They saw significant increase in new-to-file customers and also compelling return on ad spend over a five-day period. So for your brand, you need to map your core buyer demographic to an identity that resonates with that buyer. When your brand marketing can be focused on celebrating the relationship with that buyer community, you find success. Once you're aligned with specific segments, then you need to create those exclusive buying events before the holidays. This is what builds the relationship and loyalty with your core buyer demographic. Now, many of these segments, or tribes, if you will, have specific calendar events throughout the year that resonate with that community. First, the brand creates a gated exclusive offer for that event. These are promotions that are designed to target members of a particular group based on their occupation, like teachers, military, or life stage, students, seniors, or an affiliation. It could be a member of a group like AARP. And depending on your core segment, you can now double down on specific events on the calendar, whether it is back to school for students or teachers, or Veterans Day for the military community, or teacher appreciation. So these events that are exclusive to your core segment create a unique emotional connection between you and your core audience. So let's take the example of Rathis. Their core demographic is women in late 20s to mid 40s. They launched exclusive events for teachers and plan to do the same with nurses. The results thus far have been very strong. They reported that the program has seen 2 to 3x the engagement of their next best program. Most of these targeted promotions are gated. A consumer verifies that they are eligible for that promotion. Now, even though it may sound counterintuitive, brands have repeatedly found that gating increases conversion despite asking consumer for additional information like date of birth for verification. Verifying eligibility does two important things. One, it makes sure your promotion is only going to your intended audience and thereby protecting you from discount abuse. And second, it demonstrates to your core buyer that the offer is truly exclusive. We found that brands that didn't verify exclusivity received negative ratings from consumers as they perceived it as just lip service. So these kind of targeted promotions work because they are, one, personal. They recognize something that a person strongly identifies with, like having served in our military. Second, it's shared. People share the offer with other people in their tribe. In fact, in a recent study, 84% of teachers said they would share an exclusive offer with other teachers. Similar stats for the military community. And it's exclusive. Because it's limited to a specific group and for a specific time, it drives action. Typically, brands have seen conversion rates 3x a typical promotion. So once you have your core segments identified, and then have the key calendar events leading to the holidays, and you have defined that exclusive offer, messaging that exclusive offer is extremely important. Exclusive offers can equate to an emotional lift to those who receive them. In our survey, 1 in 2 say receiving an exclusive offer would make them feel excited, while many would feel special or honored to be given the offer. We see successful campaigns do two things well. They speak directly to their core segment and use messaging that recognizes their identity. In this sprint campaign you're seeing, they use a call to arms message of classes in session. And they use complementary imagery showing teachers in action in their class. The second thing they do is they share the promotion details like the discount and the time of offer. Lowe's does a good job of this, making it very clear how they're giving back with a 10% discount. Here's another example of a travel brand that is focused on the military segment for Veterans Day. Their campaign included a landing page, email campaign, and a big social media push for this particular campaign. The next best practice we want to talk about is where to promote your offer. The example I want to use is Lowe's military program. The most successful promotions that we see are those that are multi-pronged, across channels, and more importantly, use the campaign to capture valuable customer data. The beauty of a gated offer is that you want that offer to go viral, as you now have a backstop verification to ensure only the targeted audience gets the offer and prevent revenue leakage. Now, in the case of Lowe's, they did this by closely tying the military promotion to their loyalty program, the My Lowe's card. This makes it easy for the customer to purchase on any channel. Once the customer has verified eligibility, it's attached to the loyalty card so they can go and purchase in any in-store or online. And more importantly, it adds the customer attribute to Lowe's database so they can market to them in the future and continue the brand relationship. Lowe's also marketed to their own customer database through their blog to raise awareness, as well as use broadcast channels like radio to get the word out. Another innovative approach is a T-Mobile program for the military. T-Mobile One is a program that it's a company-wide effort to show strong commitment to the military. It included a commitment to hire 10,000 veterans, supporting veterans' causes through specific grants, and offering an exclusive promotion like 50% off family plans and free Netflix to military families. In a recent call to the investor community, T-Mobile's president cited their segment-specific programs like the one they're running with the military for their strong quarterly results. This is a great example that shows serving and not just selling to a community can have big business benefits. We have heard major household brands say that their targeted programs not only drove sales, but also increased customer loyalty towards the brand with increased NPS ratings. What we are seeing here is there's some amount of transference of a loyalty a consumer has towards their tribe to the brand. Once you have your message in place, it's about how do you get the word out. Exclusive offers are well suited for social because they're just for a specific group, and because people within that group know each other, they are regularly shared. So you want to make it easy for them to share your offer with their peers. To expand your reach, make sure you use common hashtags for each audience, like military life or vets for the military. In case of teachers, you can use hashtags like hashtag teacher or hashtag EdChat. We have a best practice guide for each audience that lists the common hashtags. So if you're interested, please feel free to reach out. We also asked consumers in a separate study their attitude towards targeted offers, and the results were pretty positive. We found that 91% would share a compelling offer with friends and family, and 84% of teachers or military would share an offer targeted to their segment. So in summary, we want to leave you with a few final thoughts as you start thinking about the upcoming holiday season. It's not just about what you do during the holidays, but more importantly, what you can do leading up to the holidays to build that emotional connection with the core buyer. One, you want to map your core buyer demographic to specific social tribes they identify with. You then create exclusive buying events. Think of them like mini Black Fridays for your core segments. It could be Veterans Day for military, teacher appreciation for teachers, back to school for students, the variety of events you can create. Third, you tune your message to be more than discount in your creative. Speak to the person at the other end. Then you want to promote your offer through all your primary demand channels and let people self-select and opt in. As I mentioned before, the beauty of this is if your offer is compelling, you want it to go viral because end of the day, you know there's a backstop verification which ensures only the targeted group can take advantage of that promotion. And last but not the least, don't forget social. Identity-based segments primarily get their information through word of mouth and pass it on. In conclusion, exclusive target offers combine the best of performance marketing with brand marketing, leading to increased loyalty during the holiday season and beyond. Thank you for your time, and now we'll turn it over to Q&A.
Excellent. Yeah. So we've got some time before this session closes out. So let's dive into a couple of questions from our audience. So this first one reads, Sai, have you seen any pushback from marketing to one segment and not the others?
The key here is identify who your core segment is. Once you understand your core buyer, you can then map it to the right segments. And we have seen actually great acceptance from marketers, and it makes sense where you are, as long as you focus on your core buyer, you can actually build that emotional connection with that buyer.
Excellent. That leads actually into another question from an attendee. They're asking, what segments do you recommend we actually start with?
Yeah, so this piggybacks on my earlier question. So what we have seen the best brands do is, once they have a really good understanding of their core demographic, then they align it to a variety of social tribes, whether it is the military or teachers or students or nurses, you name it. And then you leverage the power of the tribe to get the word out about your offer. So it totally depends on the brand's core demographic. For somebody, it may be military, may be most applicable. For some, it's teachers. So, or for some, it could be like a streaming company. It could be students. So it totally depends on the brand.
Excellent. All right, this next question reads, how is this different from the promotions that we're currently running?
So most of the promotions that brands are running today are what I would call mass discounting or uniform discounting. Everyone gets a promotion. So what happens with that, you end up devaluing the brand, and you are giving away revenue which you may not have to. When you do a targeted promotion, and in the online world, the only way you can do a targeted promotion is through some kind of gating. What happens is it creates that exclusivity. I call it the red velvet rope experience at a club. When you have created a truly exclusive buying event, we have seen significant more conversion than just doing a typical promotion most brands do today.
Great. All right, so it looks like we've got time for a couple more questions. This next one reads, what are the operational challenges on executing a program like this, and how would you go about getting internal buy-in?
Just like any new marketing campaign or tactic, we always recommend, testing, right? The beauty of something like this is a brand can, once they do the upfront work of identifying who their core segment is, creating a compelling offer, and figuring out which event makes more, calendar event makes most sense, just running a 5-day campaign gets you results. So my recommendations to brands is start small and scrappy. Just pick an event that makes most sense to you and run a 5-day campaign. And once you see the results, then you can expand it into throughout the year, as well as tying it into your loyalty program and a variety of things you can do. But always start with a campaign, and you'll see the results.
Excellent. All right, so before we begin to close out for this session, is there any final thoughts, final key takeaways that you want to leave with attendees today?
Sure. We were talking about what we can do differently for the holidays. The reality is that holiday season, consumers are expecting discounts. Many of the consumers are looking for significant discounts and willing to switch brands for price. So there's very little you can do differently. So it's very critical for companies to think through what you can do much before that holiday season or remaining the rest of the year. How can you build that emotional connection with your core buyer? And we have seen leading brands do that by creating exclusive offers and exclusive events for their core buyer segments. And that's how you build that emotional connection with your core buyer. So when you come to the holiday season, then you're not spending high acquisition costs and having just one-time buyers.
Excellent. Well, Thank you so much, Sai. Looking at the time right now, it looks like that's going to conclude our session with SheerID for today's Digital Summit. I want to thank our audience especially for tuning in today. We really appreciate your participation. We'll definitely be in touch shortly to follow up on any questions that you might have had that we weren't able to address live, but don't worry, we'll definitely, as I said, be in touch soon. Also, please don't forget to provide feedback in a very short survey that we have set up at the closing out of the session. We're set to kick off our next session of today's summit any minute now with the VP of Product Marketing at Unboxed. So please be sure to grab the link in the resource portal if you're not already signed up, queued up, and ready to go. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you very soon.